Bentelect is a cringy TikToker and alleged predator that has built an audience of over 11 million followers off of low-effort videos where he adds nothing other than an awkward laugh.
Therapist, how are you? I'm doing good. That's good. What brings you here? I'm doing bad. When you say bye to someone and both of you leave in the same direction. That's too true. People who shop at Trader Joe's act like they have a PhD in snacks. They kinda do.
Behind the PG-13 image that Bentelect showed to his audience loomed a much darker side of his personality and life. It's been over a year since the popular YouTuber Penguinz0 made his video absolutely destroying Bentelect.
I've thrown on the formal attire today because we need to discuss something very important. A huge loser named Bentelect.
And since then, Ben's career has been on a steady decline, and for good reason. Ben Terrelly, better known as Bentelect, was born May 31st, 1989, which makes him 35 years old as of today. Before his social media stardom, Ben was working as a sales rep for Geico, and claims he was the #2 salesman in the Midwest.
You had one job. Do not stack. Okay, got it. Come on. 3 sinks. We need 5 hands. Who did this? It's always useful to have a small terrace. You can't get there. Do not enter. Enter only.
I haven't been able to validate this claim whatsoever though, so take that with a grain of salt. Reportedly, Ben started out posting his videos on lunch break at work, and once they began to get popular, he quit his job to do social media full time, which was around December of 2020. The controversy wouldn't begin until a few years after Ben had become popular, in August of 2023 to be exact. A few months prior, Ben had started a podcast and was now trying to get people to come on his show, which isn't anything out of the ordinary. Most short-form creators try to move into long-form once they get popular. But what made Ben's approach much more predatorial than other podcasts is who he chose to message and what he was messaging them.
So, Bentelect recently made a podcast, I suppose, and he invited someone on named Jordan Max, and then things got really odd. He got super hostile, and she ended up posting about it, which led to this dam breaking, and we were flooded with cringe about Bentelect's behavior over the years with women.
Ben chose to target OnlyFans creators for podcast guests, and would initially act pretty normal towards them, but several of these women would show the internet that Ben wasn't really interested in doing a podcast. He had much more sinister intentions. The first alleged instance of this taking place was tweeted out on July 29th, 2023 by a woman named Jordan. This tweet went so viral that it caught the attention of Penguinz0, and in true Penguinz fashion, he broke down exactly what was going on in the text and gave a pretty accurate description of the man Ben Terrelly had become.
So this horny little goblin asks her before going on the podcast, "Do you want to make a video for OnlyFans?" To which she says, "When?" He says, "Today." And then she's saying, "No, you need to be tested within the last 14 days and have an OnlyFans creator account." But then he says, "I mean a video for your page." Oh, what a benevolent saint. He was actually just thinking about her the whole time. He thought this would be a good opportunity for her to make some OnlyFans content with the great Big Bentelect. So she says, "Doing what?" And he goes, "I don't know what performs best on your page." I can literally see him doing this. Well, I mean, I don't know what we do. I mean, what do you do on OnlyFans? Maybe we could do that? So it's become pretty clear that Bentelect uses this podcast as a way of just
Charlie pretty much covered every point needed when talking about the character of Bentelect, but let me add an extra point of view. Not only is Ben clearly a sexual degenerate from these messages, but it's also so very childish that it really makes me doubt his claims at being the #2 sales rep for Geico. With the negotiation and conversation skills he just showed, there is no way he was selling before social media. After Jordan exposed Ben, he then reached out to her via DMs, threatening a lawsuit over the tweet she made. Ultimately, this threat would not amount to anything, but still, Ben literally used his podcast as leverage to try and get some. Then when he got denied, he threatened to sue the woman because she wouldn't f him. Holy shit. The amount of mental gymnastics necessary to rationalize his behavior here is off the charts.
So Jordan, of course, gets really weirded out by this exchange. She posts it on Twitter, and then Bentelect himself, the man, the myth, the legend, reaches out in DMs to threaten to sue her if she doesn't take down the post. She even did a video proving that the DM is real from the real Bentelect account, just to 100% silence any possible doubt. Also, her response to it is great. She said, "I will just be waiting to hear from your lawyers then," which is hardcore.
Once Jordan's tweet began to gain traction, more and more women came out of the woodwork with alleged screenshots of Bentelek trying the exact same shtick on them. I think these texts may have been even worse than the previous ones we looked at, purely due to cringe. As Charlie pointed out, the "you're killing me gorgeous" line made me want to cut off my own skin and jump in a trash fire.
This comes from someone else who had a very similar experience to Jordan. So Ben opens with, "Do you work tomorrow?" They say, "Crazy busy day, but I don't work." And then Ben goes, "Let's make some content tomorrow." Not like that, but just film a podcast. So he immediately alludes to like, oh, not OnlyFans type content. I'm talking about just a wholesome podcast, you know, one the whole family can enjoy. Doesn't get an immediate response, so he goes, "What do you think?" He then waits about 2 hours more and he goes, "You're killing me, gorgeous." So embarrassing, Jesus Christ, that's so awful to read. Yucky. And then he gives her about 3 more hours, and then he goes, "You know what? I've been thinking about this OnlyFans thing, and I think I could make us a lot of money, straight up." And then she finally does reply saying that she's just been busy taking a mental health day.
I cannot believe he thought that was a good text to send at that point in time. I'd also like to point out that Ben quite literally was texting her every 2 hours throughout the morning. A girl he's never met and doesn't know all that well. Yikes. Aside from the spam, Ben would once again lose his only shot at by being himself. He kept spamming her for an entire day and then preemptively called her a flake. When she finally did respond, she actually said he had a chance before the whole name calling thing. And of course, instead of apologizing, this decided to double down on the insults. Somehow, someway, Ben was able to get even more cringe in some messages he allegedly sent over Snapchat to another OnlyFans creator. As you can see, Ben asked the woman to once again make an adult video with him, but this time he actually provides a title suggestion for their film. We can't see the full title obviously, but I'll let your imagination run wild for that one. Before she even had time to deny this weirdo, he sent another message saying he would give her $1,000 if she came over. And then immediately after sending the previous text, he said, quote, "I just really want you." Ugh, so weird, man.
That's redacted right there, like a CIA document. I really wonder what he said. I think it's Bentelek crazy into oblivion or something, but I'm just going off of what I can see poking out from underneath the redaction. I think that's what it is, but this is so goofy. He's speaking about himself in the third person in this one, and then he even tries bribery. "If you come over, I'll give you $1,000. I just really want you." And they respond, "I'm good right now. Don't try to bribe me with money. That's weird." And then he's like, "No, that is weird, but I want to see you."
There were a few more texts that Charlie covered when he was verbally obliterating this man, but they are with someone he has history with, and are more manipulative than predatorial, so it doesn't really seem relative for this video. If you want to watch the full Penguinz0 video on Bentelek, I'll have it linked in my description. When I say Charlie destroyed Bentelek, I don't mean just verbally. He also destroyed him physically, in the sense of his online career entering a downward spiral ever since the conflict went mainstream. Immediately after the news broke, Bentelek issued an apology on Twitter. I'm not going to read this entire dumb apology out loud, but if you want to, go ahead and pause for a second. The one part of his apology I want to touch on is where he says, quote, "I grew up in a home with 3 sisters and no brothers, so I learned very early on the importance, power, and abilities women have. They deserve to be cherished and uplifted and treated with respect, and that's how I live my life." Bro, it's obviously not how you lived your life, considering you cussed out multiple women, only when they refused to you. And I just know his mom and sisters never looked at him the same after this incident. On top of Ben presumably losing the respect of the women in his personal life, he would also go on to lose any momentum he had built up in regards to his social media. In fact, the last 1 million view video he had came in September of this year, and only went viral because he actually went on video talking about how Sunny V2, Penguinz0, and John Casterling had all defamed him.
Hey guys, there's a lot being said about me on the internet right now, and I just wanted to clear the air. The first thing I want to say is I'm sorry to anyone that I've made feel uncomfortable. I want to say to any girl who I've been rude to, whether through text or in person, that I'm sorry. I understand that me being sorry does not excuse that kind of behavior. I will continue to work on myself and do better. Thanks, guys.
Although he is now denying the allegations, he did not do anything to actually prove he was innocent. All he did was claim the screenshots were fake and say it's up to you to decide. And to be fair, there is always a possibility things can be fake. Maybe some of the screenshots are fake. Very doubtful, but it's possible. However, if they were fake, It would be easy to prove, and I think Bentelect would 100% pursue defamation lawsuits against these multi-millionaire creators he says defamed him. Throughout this entire video, I've spoken multiple times about how no rational person would send the messages Ben was sending. They were that As I started wrapping everything up, I came across a post on Ben's Instagram page, where in January he announced he was officially 6 months sober. Again, we've got no proof to back up his claims, but if he's telling the truth and he really was an alcoholic, drinking every day since 2017, then that explains a lot about how he ever thought the texts he had allegedly sent were a good idea. It's not an excuse by any means, but it does a great job at giving us a partial explanation as to why Ben, as a 35-year-old grown man, would be sending such cringy and text messages. Either way, ever since this controversy broke and Penguinz0 talked about it, Bentelect's career was destroyed. He went from averaging tens of millions of views regularly across social media to getting between 10K and 100K views on an average video. His reputation has been severely tarnished due to all these alleged screenshots leaking, and he's provided no real evidence to repair it, which is exactly how Penguinz0 destroyed a TikTok predator. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see my source for this video, check out my Twitter, which is at RedmanSpeaksYT. I'll have all the links posted there. I love you, have a good one, peace.